Hey yo, this is Machel Montano and you're watching The Nocturnal TV.
I heard this project is 10 years in the making. So how does it feel to finally be bringing it to the States and to the world?
It's exciting. It's feel triumphant, knowing that we stuck to the plan and we dedicated, and to really see things happen over that course of time. I remember the Malcolm Gladwell book, The Tipping Point, and they say it takes 10 years to make something great. It takes 10,000 working hours. Well, this was a lot of dedication and not giving up and really trying, and to see it come out in the end is really exciting.
And so tell me a little bit about the character you play.
I am Lee De Leon. Let's see. He is a musician that went to London, tried to make it, failed, came back home kind of despondent, and then met someone who was his fan, who loved his music and kind of rejuvenated his passion for soca, got him back into Carnival, and pretty much sounds like me, a couple of times me going out there, always being signed to labels, trying to make it, coming back home, and in particular the story of going to London. I remember being signed to Atlantic Records, going out to London, Sweden, Norway, really trying to make soca international, and not really meeting with the desired success or the way that we thought it would have gone. But it brought me back to Trinidad. It rejuvenated me into some of the greatest songs, the greatest albums, and the greatest accomplishments I've made in my career. So I really dig the fact that it relates to me, and I don't think it was actually meant to exactly go that way, but I think it was divine intervention. And I think the movie story really, it focuses on love and what happens in Trinidad and Tobago, but somehow my character is that kind of guy. He really likes music, and he really wants to just fall in love.
Speaking of, in the film, your character's grandmother is very important in his musical career. Can you speak a little bit about how important your family was in your musical career and some of your support and mentors?
Totally. My family, is the backbone of who I am. When I say Machel Montano, the star, there is Winston Montano, Elizabeth Montano, and Marcus Montano. My very small knit family. I had a few years with my grandmother, but didn't really grow up with her, and she made like Superman costumes, and but she passed early. But really and truly, the struggle of my parents, we found music at an early age, and they decided to support us. They both had jobs. One was a geologist, one was a guidance counselor, but they both became our manager and our PR agent, while having their jobs. And they taught us a lot of values of our career, how to, read business books, read about the music business, how to save money, how to go out there and, do your homework and your schoolwork before you come home. And they allowed us to do music, and they really helped us to reach out to the community, and they really put us on the path towards success musically, until we were old enough to do it ourselves. So that that significance of family really pushing you into your music was relatable. I'll talk about my grandmother, but really and truly that would be my mother. She would be the one clearing out the furniture in the living room, giving me a spoon and saying, sing, all right, go over there, do this, do that, rehearse. It was that kind of little Michael Jackson, Joe Jackson kind of environment. But I will never forget the significance of we built a star. We built a company. We built a family business based on music, based on culture, based on soca, based on our parents just teaching us the values of life.
Tell me a little bit about collaborating with Todd and what he brought to the project. He's not from the Caribbean. He's a very well-known American filmmaker and TV show creator. So tell me a little bit about what he brought to the project and how he immersed himself into Trinidad.
But I always remember that being one of the important parts of the journey to the producers and the writer, finding a great director. And when they finally found Todd and they said he's a great guy, I didn't know who he was, but just meeting him, his personality, he was so humble, he was so quiet, and he looked like he was very meticulous and very easy to work with. And immediately we kicked off because he said, look, you're a musician. Don't worry too much about acting classes, because I really wanted to prepare and, come out in my full Denzel, mode. But he was like, take your time, you're a musician, just relate it to life. And that really helped me, his calm demeanor, he wasn't really pressuring me. and he was really looking for something that I learned: simplicity. Don't overdo it. Just keep it simple and try to stay true. And I learned a lot through him. So it was really exciting to know that he was, accomplished, but yet he was simple enough to be relatable and to help me through the process as first-time actor.
And your music is interwoven, and you're a producer on the film. Can you speak about the process of, song selection, interweaving your songs, and working on the music for the film?
That was really the catching point for me, the hook that got me interested. Claire and Ansel, Claire, the writer, she sat down, she said, look, we are your fans, we love your music, and we feel that in your music there's a story about, people coming together and people meeting and falling in love. And, they took songs like, they pointed to songs like Real Unity, songs like, One More Time, songs like, the songs that I write with the themes of love and the themes of culture coming together, and sometimes the themes of, uniting race for real unity. And that really struck a chord to me, because I really sat down and focused on, hey, I've really been singing about this for quite a few years. So to put these songs in the film and to work on that was really a pleasure. And I must give kudos to Claire, because, she first picked the songs that she wrote into the script. And I looked through them, and I, sometimes I was like, well, we need hits, or we need the jumpy up songs, or the faster songs, and I really had to sit back and look at what these songs meant. And I didn't really ever sit back in my career and look back to see what kind of influence these songs had on people. But it was refreshing, and it helped me to kind of further choose some of the more current music. So we have music from classic Machel Montano days, the classic hits, but we have some of the current songs that were big hits in 2015 and 2016. And it's a really wide scope, and it's a good introduction to soca music. So for me, I had to go back and produce some of the songs over, add, take away, make different versions, and that whole experience was really interesting for me.
And the relationship between your character and Natalie's character is like a beautiful one to watch flourish in the film. Can you speak a little bit about the relationship and how it was working with Natalie?
Working with Natalie was awesome. She was a nervous buddy, and she was really somebody, as I said, I had the opportunity to choose who I thought would play the role best from the audition. And in her audition, she sang this really spiritual Indian mantra-like song, and I felt that she had the depth and she had the passion. When she came on set, she also was very meticulous about how she portrayed her part, how she did everything, knowing the Trini culture. So she kind of fed off of me to give her that, part of it. But I had to feed off of her, saying, no, it must be better. No, less subtle, more vibrant. And I really, really learned a lot from her on screen, and we became each other's sort of, got your back kind of person to make sure that we were doing what we were doing right. And it was really, really a great friendship.
And speak about shooting during Carnival and how that process was like.
Yeah, mayhem. Shooting during Carnival, shooting a movie alone is, a big undertaking, but shooting during Carnival, and not just any Carnival for Machel Montano, in a year when you're winning Road March and you're winning Soca Monarch, and you're putting on the biggest soca show of all time, and you have like 50 shows in a month. It was really tough. I usually would sleep 3 hours every night. Well, this movie took me down to 1, sometimes half an hour a day, of sleep, because I would go to a fete, perform, come home at 4, and have to be on the set at 5, and be there until 5 p.m. And it really was a challenge, but it was fun, because we were really able to, interact with the real culture of Trinidad and Tobago. Like the Juve scenes, we had to remake it, but it was happening during Carnival, so it was a bit easier to relate and not feel like we were, making it up. And then, we got to take the crew to these fetes and take Natalie and the cast to these shows, and that helped them understand the culture a little more. Trinidad is always more vibrant during Carnival, so it was, it really helped. And most importantly, the pressure of the timing. I had no time to think whether I was going to do it good or not. I had to get on set, get it done, and get off set and get back to my shows, and I think that really helped me.
Absolutely. And can you tell people a little bit about where are some great places to go in Trinidad? Where should people check out? Where do you like to hang out?
Trinidad is like, what do you say? Trinidad and Tobago. We have a twin island republic, so we have the best of both worlds. Trinidad is like your New York City. in the Caribbean, but yet we have such great culture. We have great beaches. Maracas Beach, you must go. So you have to go to Maracas Beach, try bacon shark. You have to go down to St. James, walk through the valleys of the valleys of the people that never sleep. And drink a beer. Lime is a word for hangout. That's what we do on the sides of the streets. Now we have the avenue where you would go and see all the people of Trinidad just partying, and I think that's important. But you have to take time and go to Tobago. Go to Pigeon Point. Eat the curry crab and dumpling by the beach. Go to the Buku Reef. See what beautiful reef we have. The Nylon pool where you could go into the middle of the ocean and stand up and chill in serene, beautiful water. And then you still have things like jungle and the birds and nature. Trinidad is really rich, waterfalls, and it's good hikes and good people. But most importantly, the streets of Trinidad and Tobago is where you find the joy.
And what was your favorite number to perform in the film?
Favorite number would have to be the new song I Forget. I Forget was a song that I kind of got the inspiration for the song. I heard the beat maybe 6 years prior to it entering the film. I loved the beat, and I thought it was a mix of African and Indian, and I always thought a great song would come about. And somewhere along that journey I said, hey, this should be the song in the film. It was actually the song that we wrote for the film, and it was about forgetting about race and race relations. I forget different races when I see your faces, love and happiness. And that song was me coming around the corner, being sad, seeing Juve going on, and seeing a carnival street scene and just jumping into it and singing. And there were a lot of spontaneous moments in that shot where I just took the tassa sticks and started playing the tassa drums. But to see everybody in the street who had never heard this Machel Montano song, yet unreleased, really come up to me and say, this is a beautiful song. We love what it's saying. We love the mood. It really, really, kind of signaled to me that this is the right thing.
Was there a lot of improvising on set as well, like in general? A lot of improv, or?
Pretty much. I'm not a lot, but we had that that choice to just make up lines and do things sometimes. And I think there were a few moments where that happened. Todd was that kind of director. He was open to what would make it real, what would make it authentic, and we changed a lot of things on the spot, from some of the improvisation that was going on. And things like me just jumping on the tassa and beating the drums, and then they saying, this is beautiful, let's keep this. I think there were those moments, and those moments made it special.
And I love the closing number. Was that fun to shoot?
Of course. That was the little Bollywood moment that we insisted that we do. I always remember some of these movies where they all come together and sing this song in the end, and it was fun. It was challenging to get everybody in place in the right time, but we really felt like the song said everything. That was another special song to me. I wrote that song with my dad in a time when it was tough for me. I did that collaboration with Wyclef, and it was about the people who come to back you up when you really need them the most. So to perform that with the cast as the closing number, and we know we all had such a challenging time putting on this film, it just felt like we were there for each other.
I also want to switch a little bit to like current music and current projects that you're working on. What do you want to share? Because I know you're recently collaborating with Angela Hunt, and Party Done was a big hit. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's in the works for you music-wise?
Well, in the more recent times, I have been on the search for producers and writers who are going to help me carve the new sound of Machel Montano. That sound of soca music that's going to carry us into the future of what our music will do to the world. We're hearing soca music showing up in Justin Bieber tracks like Sorry and Drake One Dance.
I was going to ask you about that.
So it's important for me to keep my finger on the trigger that the music is rising and becoming more popular as we go forward. People learning more and more about Carnival, people learning more and more about soca. So it's for me to keep stretching that my hands out and working with different producers and writers who could produce the present sound of soca, which is a sound that is embracing electronic music, embracing more hip hop, embracing more dancehall, and pretty much Afrobeat, making that music really woven into those things. So I've been working with Angela on that project. I've been working with a lot of top producers. You know, I wouldn't call all the names because there's so many, but I have been focusing on trying to put out an album that will be, you know, my international offering of what soca is today and what it will be in the future. So I'm working on that. I'm also working this year, you know, on making significant appearances with soca music. I did this year Coachella. I closed the main stage with Major Lazer, you know, to probably the biggest audience in my life, and you know, it was really special to see them react to soca music. I had the opportunity to go to Coachella many times and see huge performers, and never dreamed that I would be there. So that happened this year. I also opened King's Theatre with Lauryn Hill this year. She had a festival that she curated called Diaspora Calling, and it was just about this very same thing, the mixture of African dancehall, soca, you know, hip hop, and how they are converging on each other. And it's all these unity looks, you know. One of the significant things I did this year also was perform at the White House, sing soca in the White House, and you know, play my part talking about the influence of Caribbean culture on America. You know, but it means the rise of our culture to the world, the recognition that we are getting now. And I think, you know, it's important for me to stay focused this year on making steps like that. I'm doing OVO Fest on Saturday, coming with Drake. You know, it's a festival that Drake started during Caravana time. You know, he brought people like, you know, Outkast and some of the biggest names in the business, you know, Jay-Z, and now he is, you know, embracing the Caribbean culture by giving us the Saturday to do a soca event or a carnival event that will, you know, blend dancehall, soca, and all Afrobeat together. So I feel like it's important for me, while, you know, releasing this film, which also projects the fact that, you know, we want to show that unity, to keep making the unity happen. Live shows, you know, the songs that I produce. I'm also working on a Machel Montano documentary that's coming out soon that would show the behind philosophies of the monk philosophy, you know, that movement of new knowledge. You know, the movement of new knowledge is about us learning who we are by learning other people's culture and really sharing and interacting together. So it's a lot of exciting things happening for me this year, but they all point into the same thing, bringing the Caribbean culture and philosophy of unity to the mainstream.
I know, and just a quick question about Drake. We hear such a strong kind of soca influence in the latest music that he's released. Do you hope to collaborate with him?
Definitely. You know, we have a lot of songs sitting there on the table just waiting to push in his face, you know, and it's one step at a time, you know. We love what he's doing. He's reaching out, dancehall, soca, Afrobeat, and we think we're right there in the pocket. Once we keep doing great work, I think our worlds will converge, and they're already converging, because here we are in Toronto for, you know, the first OVO Caravana, you know, Caribbean culture party. So
as we wrap up, is there any final thoughts, anything you want to share with the readers?
Well, I mean, I just want to invite people to embrace Caribbean culture, come to the Caribbean, you know, come to Carnival especially, and experience something that's new. You know, it's a feeling that you can't really describe in film or describe in words. You know, you really have to go there and enjoy time and meet people and see that these memories will last and really, you know, transcend into that feeling of, I want to learn new things, I want to try different things, because, you know, soca is the next thing. So look it up and look out.